We're talking about unchecked aggression here,
What the fuck is he talking about?
My rug.
Forget it, Donnie. You're out of your element.
Walter, the Chinaman who peed on my rug, I can't go give him a bill.
Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. Today we're back in War Thunder having a look at, well, some Steam stuff. If you don't know, obviously War Thunder can be downloaded through the Guardian website, but it can also be downloaded through Steam. And one of the benefits of doing it through Steam is you get some downloadable content for the game if you want to purchase it. Obviously, you get different packs if you do it through Steam, and some of the vehicles here you can't really buy anywhere else. Now, on the 21st of November, they've added 4 new packs to the store. My guess is so they can sell them around Christmas, and what we're going to do is go through these packs, go through the costs, break them down, give my opinion on the vehicles, you know, the whole shabuzi. So, the first 2 we're not going to cover are pre-existing ones, which are Plagueis' Spitfire LF Mark 9 that you see here. It's 31 Canadian dollars, and then the Black Prince pack, which is $54. We covered these in a recent sale. I believe they were 50% off or something very close. And to be honest, the Plagueis is really good, but it gets outshone by Griffin Spitz at its BR, and the Black Prince is not very good. So paying $50 for this, I would say, is not the best idea. Picking up for half price, though, you know, then we can start having a talk. So what we're going to be covering today is Ray Wetmore's P51D10, the M18 Black Cat pack, T3485E, and also Sergei Dolgushin's LA7 pack. So remember, all of these right now are at full price. Since they are new to the store, I am wondering if in some kind of Christmas sale they might go on discount, but I am unsure. I think the best thing to do is, if you really like these things, and since they've just been added to the store, it may be worth, you know, picking them up if you have the money lying around. But just remember, you know, War Thunder generally has quite a few sales every year, at least 1 or 2. You know, you have the anniversary sale, the 1st of November, then you have the Christmas sale, then sometimes you have like kind of a spring sale if you want. So just understand between, actually no, I'll just show you. So if we go to War Thunder Christmas sale, if we look at the last 2 years, December 2017, December 2016, so in 2017, they had 50% discounts for a bunch of stuff, and they also had Guardian Store up to 50% discounts as well. Then if we go to the year before, you have discounts up to 70% on certain vehicle packs. Also you got the Hargo Commander tank. This was when the Japanese were released. So yeah, understand that the Christmas period in War Thunder is a time where, you know, stuff goes on offer. And I feel like some of these, even though they're quite new to, you know, Steam, maybe they'll go on offer this year as well, since all of them are pre-existing premiums in the game. It seems like they've brought them back to the Steam store to be able to sell them. But just, yeah, understand that these are at full price right now, so they're the most you're ever going to pay. Something else to point out as well, Steam actually converts to Canadian dollars, whereas the Guardian store only converts to USD, or United States dollar. So what I've had to do during these calculations is basically convert from Canadian to other regional equivalents. Just understand that your taxes might be slightly different, so the numbers shown may not be completely the correct one, but it's going to give you a ballpark figure. If you want to check yourself for the cost, of course go to War Thunder on Steam and you'll see. Another thing that I do want to point out, which I find kind of interesting, is if you actually look through these pictures, so we have a, what looks like a MiG-15 or a MiG-17. We have the French, sorry, the German helicopter, even though it's French. Then you've got the Type 90 with a very interesting skin. You have what looks like one of the destroyers, so I don't think it's a light cruiser. Then you have the Leopard, looking beautiful. Type 90. You have the Warrior, so a lot of, you know, modern vehicles. You've got the Hind, the is that the TAR 154. You've got a Cobra in there. You've got a Hind again. Then you've got a BF-109Z. Then an XM1. What looks like a Focke-Wulf next to the 75mm. And then you've got a submarine. But obviously the submarine was from the April Fool's event. It's kind of interesting to see it, though, as part of the marketing, since this doesn't exist in the game right now. I mean, maybe in the future it might, but it was only around for an April Fool's event. So to see it as a thing to advertise, I mean, I think somebody could make a case for false advertising here, if I'm quite honest. Because somebody might pick up the game being like, hey, I want to play submarines. And guess what? There's no submarines. So yeah. Also this vehicle, I believe it's the P-51A. Which is in the American tree. It was put in for Thunder League, of all things. It's this machine here, as you can see. So that's kind of odd to use that as a marketing tool, since you can't get it in the game anymore. And then, of course, this one as well, another Cobra. So yeah, the pictures are really nice. It's just some of them are a little bit of an odd choice. Anyway, let's get started. So Ray Wetmore is P51 D10 pack. This is a 4.7 P51. So it actually splits the difference between the P51s we already have in tree, because you got the 4.3 P51 D5, and then you have the 3.7 one, of course, but also, if we just find it, here we go, you have the D30, which is 5.0. So the D10 is the same BR as the D20. A lot of people over the years have said that the 10, 20, and 30 have the same flight model. They do not have the same flight model, so that is something to take into account. The closest you are going to get to be able to test this aircraft, though, in game is the P51 D20 NA. It's very similar to it in a lot of ways. Then if you don't want to test flights and you actually want to fly something which is going to be similar to it, in an actual battle, then you have to pick the D5 or the D30. I'd personally say just take the D5, since you'll have better matchmaking and you won't get up-tiered into 5.3 as much. Which is the German Powerhouse BR. This is a nice Swedish camouflage. You can find it on the War Thunder Live. So, how much is this plane? Well, it's $40 Canadian, and you get 15 days of premium account. One of the things that's interesting about these packs, there's no GE for these packs. So you only get premium time, which generally is not the best, but 15 days is, nothing to scoff at. If we go over to the Microsoft Excel spreadsheets, then we're going to go through all the numbers here. So I think we'll do them all at once. Looking at the P51 D10, since its premium time is 15, the cost of pack you can find across the board. I will leave a link in the description to this for you, and what that means is you can have a look for yourself if you want to see a specific number. But what I want to focus on is this layer here. Now, the reason why I've done it in USD is, as I said, the conversions, such as the premium and the GE, these are in USD, since the Guardian store only supports USD. It doesn't support Canadian dollar. So this P51 D10 we're talking about is $25 if you take away the premium time. The M18 Black Cat is about 20, T3485 is 25, and LA7 is 20. So those are as simple as. They are exactly the two are the same cost. These two and these two are the same cost as well, which is kind of interesting. But anyway, yeah, that is something to point out. This is probably the key little bit for you. If you want to see the value of each vehicle and what you're actually going to get out of it. Obviously, during the anniversary sales that we had earlier, the values are going to be a hell of a lot better than this. But, as I said, just understand that these packs are here for you to pick up what I would say on a special, or unless you really want a vehicle right now. So P51 D10 is a good vehicle. It is not one which normally does too well in the battles. because of unfortunate teams. And this is something that is replicated across. So you can see my D5. I have a 2-to-1 KD in it and nearly a 60% win rate. This is something which is kind of abnormal, and the reason why is because I played it a lot in squads back in the day, and also just learned to be very patient with the aircraft. What you find is once you get to higher altitudes, you can do really well against a lot of the German planes, which is what your majority face, or against the Soviet planes. The only ones that you'll struggle really against are the Japanese, because of the Ki-84, which is a very, very strong plane, and also the J2M series of aircraft. So overall with the P-51, if you don't get sucked down into a vacuum, and you actually stay above, above altitude, and make sure to be patient and wait to actually engage enemies, you'll do really well in it. The problem is the majority of people don't do that, and you sit in a situation where they get sucked down and they get beaten not at their own game but at the Germans' game. So therefore, if you just wait, gain the altitude and wait for the enemy, but if you play the supportive playstyle in creating 2-on-1s, being able to dive on enemies which have also dived on your allies, you can do really well on this. But in a full-on 1-on-1 situation where you're at the same altitude, well, yeah, the P-51 is going to lose to a lot of the aircraft that it faces. So it is all about tactics with this aircraft. It is all about setting up kills, which I understand is not something that, not everybody wants to do all the time. Some people just want to have fun. And yeah, well then, therefore this plane is not for you. This plane is for somebody who wants to who basically has to set up their stuff. It's not a pick up and play vehicle, never has been. The M18 Black Cat is very similar to the Hellcat. Basically the only difference is that the Black Cat doesn't have a muzzle brake and it's got a slightly different turret. Why am I looking at aviation? Here we go. The M18 Black Cat is right here. It's a very fast vehicle that the Americans have. It's a rank 3, battle rating 5.3. The Black Cat is the exact same BR in realistic, 76mm on it. Overall, what you're paying for is a machine that can get hull broken, but it can fly around at the speed of sound, and that is actually really fun. The Hellcat is one of the funnest vehicles in ground realistic, as long as, you don't go too aggressive with it. It can be really, really annoying if you go too aggressive with it. So the same with the Black Cat. You can use it to flank, you can use it to go around the enemy, you can use it to get to areas quickly with it. You can do all of these wonderful things, and what that means is you can set up kills really easily with it and also set it up well as a support vehicle. It also means if you don't want to care about the domination zones, you can just go around them. I would personally say it's one of the funnest vehicles in game, and if you have the chance, I would pick it up. The T-34-85E Chicken Wire Express, as it's known. It's a T-34-85 with some extra armor, and the extra armor isn't that useful. I've personally had it bounce a few rounds every once in a while, and so this is the T-34-85. The Chicken Wire Express is basically, as you can see, the extra stuff around it, the mesh, as it's called, the mesh screens. And what this does is it improves, well, it's supposed to, I should say, it's supposed to help with some armor. And it's supposed to be able to ricochet a little bit more. And in my experiences, that is true. It does ricochet a little bit more. Sometimes shells get stuck on the mesh, but overall you are still just looking at a T-34-85. Very strong gun. Sometimes the armor is good. The majority of the time you cannot count on it though. But it is a nippy, good gun, and that's what you need for the Soviets. It also has a wonderful lineup of 5.7. You got the IS-2, PT-76, ZSU-37, TV, KV or T5, KV-220, Type 65 if you have any of these. IS-1 you can throw in there, 5.7 or 5.3. Powerhouses for the Soviets. So adding to that with another T-34-85 is always going to do you well. The LA-7, which I think is the weakest out of the four here, is a Soviet rank 4 aircraft. So technically, it should be a 4.7 over here. You just can't see it right now. It is good at researching the whole of the Soviet tree, and, you know, that's a plus for it. But the question is, with the LA-7, is the LA-7 a good plane? And maybe I'm not the right person to ask, but I personally have struggled with the LA series of planes. The LA-5 I thought was very good. The LA-5F I started to feel outclassed. The LA-5FN I realized I was outclassed. And the LA-7, which is basically just an upgrade of it, I do not feel comfortable flying this aircraft. I feel like I do not have an advantage over an opponent. What I mean by this is I cannot climb as well as them. Like, I cannot climb as well as the meta vehicles. I cannot turn as well as some of the meta vehicles. I cannot dive as well as other meta vehicles. So, where other vehicles at 4.7 have either really good dives or really good climbs, really good firepower, like the P-51D has a good dive. It also has good maneuverability at high altitudes. The LA-7, the only thing it really has is low altitude maneuverability. And this is only useful in very small scenarios at the end of matches. This is generally not a skill which is useful at the start of matches when you need it. You know, when that initial engagement in aerialistic makes so much of a difference. But it's just, I personally really don't like the aircraft, and this might just be, you know, personal bias or whatever, but I've never done well in it. Like, it's as I said, it is a jack of all trades, master of none, and generally those types of vehicles just don't really fly very well with me. It does have access to bombs though, so you do at least get some of that. So in ground realistic, it's not completely useless, and also this machine has 2 camouflages. At least the one in the tree does. I'm not sure about the premium one. But if you like the LA-7, yeah, pick it up. But if you, you know, if you don't like the LA-7, it's not going to really serve you well. There are other premiums which will be on offer at some point, such as the Yak 3 VK107, which will serve you a hell of a lot better. Or just Talisman a TU2 and get through it and get to those jets. Like, it's as simple as that. This is the only one I would say it's a no bueno, but everyone else I think are very good pickups, very solid for their tier. P-51D, you will have to think a lot, but the other two are very easy to play. So, yeah, if you want to learn how to energy fight, if you want to learn how to actually fly a plane properly to its, you know, standards, the P-51's a great pickup. But if you don't, and you just want to kick about, then there's definitely other planes for you. Anyway, yeah, these are the 4 new Steam packs that were available on the 21st of November, and I'm sure they'll be available going forward. Just remember, they will probably be on offer pretty soon at Christmas. And if they're not, then you can still pick them up at Christmas if you want to. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time.